Humanity, Season 2, Episode 4, The Devil You Know. 2 weeks after Season 1, Chloe wanders through the forest. She is covered in blood and in extremely rough shape. She slowly walks to an opening in the forest and sits against a tree. Chloe lifts her shirt, revealing her gunshot wound inflicted by Alex. It is patched up, but very poorly patched up. Chloe takes off her bandage and grunts in pain. The wound is still open. She reaches into her bag and grabs her canteen. She opens it to clean off the blood, but sees it is empty. Fuck, are you kidding me? Chloe wipes off the blood with her shirt and covers it with a rag. She pulls out some tape and tapes the rag onto her wound. While she tapes her wound, an infected tackles her from behind. Chloe struggles against it, but is too weak and exhausted to fight back against it. Chloe holds it off with her remaining strength as 3 more of the dead reach her. She begins to lose strength as a bullet flies through the infected skull. Chloe is splattered with more blood as she pushes it off of her. The 3 infected are shot in the head. She gets up and sees 4 men approach, wearing white hoods. Chloe looks at them. Thanks so much. I don't think I could have fought them off. The men stay quiet as one of them walks up to Chloe and hits her over the head with a shotgun before she could say a single word. Later, Chloe opens her eyes and sees she is tied to a chair. Still confused, she looks around to see she is in a cellar. On one of the walls, the word sinner is written in blood. Chloe looks nervous and tries to get free, but is unable to loosen her ropes. She yells out, "Hello, is anybody there?" But there is no response. Chloe is about to call out again when she hears a door open. She hears footsteps as a woman walks in. Chloe looks at the woman as she walks up to her. The woman says, "I'd save your voice, kid." Chloe responds, "Who the hell are you?" The woman smiles and gets in Chloe's face. "I am the one asking the questions here. How about you tell me who you are?" Chloe doesn't say anything. The woman laughs and asks again in a way more aggressive tone, "What is your name? Don't make me ask again." Feeling scared, Chloe gives in. "My name is Chloe. Chloe Cordon." The woman smiles. "Now that wasn't that hard now, was it? So what is this place? Why did you guys knock me out and lock me up?" The woman grabs a chair from the other side of the room and sits on it in front of Chloe. "My name is Gina. My people, we call ourselves the Final Congregation." Chloe looks at her and asks, "Are you guys religious or something?" Gina confirms this. "Yes. You see, the reason the world is the way it is because there are too many sinners in the world. Sins make God angry, and he wants to get rid of them." Chloe stares confused. "So how does this involve me exactly?" "Well, my people are sinless. We are trying to bring all non-sinners under one banner in order to rid of the world of unsavables. Only by getting rid of the evil can God return the world to what it once was." "And you want me to help you?" Gina smiles. "If you pass the trials, then you will join our family. You will help us and help the Lord rid the world of poison so we can get back to normal." Chloe, with a confused look, asks, "Trials?" "Well, when we find people out there, we need to test them to see if they are free of sin. You and some other people we found will be tested by the Lord in a series of trials. If you're free of sin, the Lord will protect you. If not, well, then it's one less sinner in the world." Chloe asks if there's any choice for her. Gina says, "No, not unless you want to defy the Lord." Chloe looks nervous but agrees to take part in the trials. Gina calls in a guard and Chloe is freed and escorted out of the cellar. Chloe is brought outside of her cell by a guard and into a hallway. We see 3 other people being escorted, 2 men and a woman. They are brought up some stairs and a hatch is open, leading outside. And we see that this group is based on a large farm. Chloe looks around and asks the guard if they had this place since the start. The guard says to keep quiet until they are brought to the first trial. They walk down a path as Chloe sees someone tending to crops, looks to see some people talking on the porch of the farmhouse, and trailers where the members of the group sleep. The 4 prisoners are brought outside the farm fence where Gina stands with 2 guards wearing the white robes and carrying guns. Chloe and the 3 others, Dex, Gregory, and Lynn, are lined up. As Gina begins to talk, "Alright, so welcome to the first trial. Now there will be 3 of these, and each will go until one of you falls." Dex asks, "How will this prove that we're sinless?" Gina says, "Well, God protects those free of sin. If you're free of sin, then the Lord will protect you and see you through the trials, and then you will join us in eliminating sinners from our world, and we'll be there once the Lord brings us back to the world we once knew." One of the cultists comes up to the 4 and proceeds to chain each one of their legs to the fence. Chloe asks why they're being chained. Gina says, "Precaution. We're going to leave some weapons for you and head behind the fence, and then we will make some noise and draw in the devils, the dead. You will defend yourselves as they come until one of you falls." Gregory looks scared. "But I've never fought them up close." Gina says, "Well, if the Lord chooses you, then you have nothing to worry about." Gina walks behind the fence as a cultist pulls out small knives and puts them on the ground, as another holds Chloe and the others at gunpoint so they don't try anything. They then head behind the fence with Gina as she tells them to pick up the knives, which they all do. And then Gina is handed a yellow horn and she blows into it to draw in the dead. Chloe, Gregory, Dex, and Lynn watches the dead draw in. 2 come towards them. Chloe drives her knife into one's head as Dex kills another. More come in as we see the 4 take them on. Lynn kicks one to the ground and stabs it. Chloe kills 2 as Gregory fights against one and nearly gets bit, but pushes it off of him and stomps its head in. Gregory sighs in relief as another wave comes in. This time, some are running. Dex kills 1 as Lynn fights another. Chloe begins getting swarmed but kills multiple very easily. Gina looks at Chloe and looks very impressed. And then Dex is attacked by another one that runs at him and drops his knife, freaking out. Gregory looks at him as more dead comes towards him. He says, "Sorry about this." He then stabs Dex in the leg, causing him to scream and fall to the ground as he begins to get eaten alive by the infected, and his screams draw in more of the dead that begin eating him. Chloe and Lynn look at this shocked as the guys behind the fence shoot the remaining dead as they head outside the fence. A soldier looks at Gregory on the floor, clinging to life. He aims his gun at him and says, "Say hello to the devil you know," and shoots him in the head. The soldiers take the knives away as Lynn steps up. "Did you see what he did?" She points at Gregory. "He killed that guy. He let him die just so he could save himself." Gina laughs. "Honey, clearly you don't understand. This is the Lord's trial. He guides you through it. God chose Dex here to go. And well, if that's what his choice was, then what's it matter how he went? It's what God wanted, and it's what God got." Chloe looks at Dex's dead body on the floor, as her, Lynn, and Gregory's chains are undone, and they're led to the second trial. Chloe, Lynn, and Gregory are led outside the barn, where Gina stands in front of the door. "Welcome to the second trial. For this one, you will head inside this barn. All 3 of you will find a hiding spot. You'll have 3 minutes before I send in my men to search for you, and well, the Lord will choose who moves on. First one found will join the devil you know." Chloe sarcastically says, "So first you make us fight off the dead, and now you're making us play hide and seek?" A guard tells her to watch her tone as the doors are open, and Gina says, "And also, we have guards watching every side of the barn, so don't try to run." Chloe and the gang enter the barn as they scramble to hide. Chloe hides inside of a haystack. Lynn hides in one of the stables, and Gregory hides on the second floor. Lynn has a terrified look on her face as the door to the barn is opened. The 2 cultists enter the barn carrying guns. They walk around searching for the prisoners. One of the soldiers walks past the haystack Chloe is hiding in as she freezes in fear, putting her hands together and praying. One of the soldiers goes upstairs, and we see Gregory hiding on the floor behind a wall. A soldier walks by and almost sees him. Lynn is seen crying quietly as the soldier downstairs begins going through the haystacks, throwing hay aside. He goes one by one, haystack by haystack, as Chloe keeps praying. The other soldier heads back downstairs, giving Gregory a sigh of relief. As the other soldier slowly approaches Chloe's haystack and is about to discover her, another soldier walks to the stables and spots Lynn, raising his gun to her, saying, "Found someone?" Calling the other soldier over. Lynn freaks out and tries to run as she's grabbed by the cultist and dragged by the hair to the middle of the barn as she screams and cries for mercy. Chloe peeks out and sees this happening in front of her. Lynn is forced onto her knees as she begins begging, "Please, I'm not a sinner. I've been faithful since the day I was born. I believe in the Lord. Please, have mercy." One of the cultists raises their gun to Lynn and says, "You may believe in God. However, God, he does not believe in you." Lynn screams, "No, please." The man says, "Say hello to the devil you know." And he pulls the trigger, killing Lynn as she drops dead to the floor as Chloe watches this, speechless. One of the cultists calls out and says, "All right, the two of you, come out. You're moving on." Chloe and Gregory come out, staring, and see Lynn's dead body and the blood on the barn floor. Gregory says, "Guess her faith wasn't strong enough." Chloe stays silent, not sure what to do, as they are led outside of the barn, leaving Lynn's dead body there. Chloe and Gregory are brought outside of the barn and are met by Gina standing with her men. Gina says, "Seems now the Lord only has two people left to judge." Chloe speaks out angry. "What the hell kind of judgment is this? Those people did nothing wrong. How the hell was this the God's wish?" Gregory looks at her. "Damn, kid, you sound like you want to be the next to go." Chloe tells him to shut the fuck up, as she then goes on saying, "I see what's going on here. You're trying to eliminate the weak and keep the strong. You just want an army of people who can survive so they can protect yourself, Gina. I see right through you." Gina goes up to her and says, "I don't think you fully understand what we're trying to do here. I'm curious, what did you have in terms of family before this?" Chloe explains that her parents and boyfriend died early on and how her brother shot her. She then ran away and didn't look back. Gina says, "I see your pain, Chloe. I feel it. You lost your family. Your only family betrayed you. Maybe it's not a coincidence you're here. I sense God may have led you here. This group, the final congregation, is a chance at a new family. We are one. We do the Lord's work together, so one day we can be in paradise free of sin. That's what God is having us do, and I think that's what He wants you to do." Chloe looks taken aback by this, freezing up thinking about it. Gina then orders her men to bring her and Gregory back to their cells and get them ready for the trial. Chloe is in the cell once again, walking around, starting to have a mental breakdown, as Gina's words stick with her in her head. The final congregation is a chance at a new family. Chloe walks around some more as she begins thinking back to past events, thinking of Jason and him getting shot by Jonathan and dying in front of her eyes. She flashes back to Alex arguing with her in the gym, and then her holding Kelly at gunpoint in the auto shop as Mike approached her. She fires her gun, killing Mike, as she is shot by Alex as she snaps back to reality. She breaks down to the floor and cries as she says to herself, "I have nothing. Nobody. Not my mom, not my dad, not my boyfriend, not my brother." She just lays on the floor, struggling with what to do. At night, Chloe is brought out of the cell and doesn't say anything. as she is brought out into the farm that is now illuminated by torches, as she is led to a crowd of about 20 to 30 people surrounding a ring. Gregory is placed next to her as Gina speaks out as she emerges from the crowd. Tonight, the Lord will make a big decision. There's only two people left for his judgment. Gina walks up to the pair and says, "Chloe, Gregory, the Lord sees great things in the both of you. Unfortunately, only one of you can be accepted, and that will be for the Lord to decide with the help of the third and final trial." Gina signals one of her men to remove a tarp from the middle of the ring, revealing a big hole. Chloe looks down it and sees a lot of infected inside of the hole. Gina then begins to explain the third trial. For this trial, you two must battle, no weapons, until one of you ends up in there with the devils. Gregory speaks out. "Come on, me and her, we can both be with you. I'll fight for you. I'll help you." Chloe looks at him and says, "You heard her. The Lord can only choose one of us. So how about you man up? I sure doubt the Lord would want a coward now, would he?" Gregory pauses as him and Chloe are each brought to two different ends of the ring. Gina speaks out and says, "May the most faithful live to see tomorrow," as she orders them to begin fighting. Gregory runs at Chloe as he toggles her to the ground and begins throwing punches at her. Chloe grabs his arm as he throws another punch. Chloe then headbutts him and punches him in the eye, giving him a black eye. Chloe gets up as well as Gregory as she throws a punch at his gut. Gregory kicks Chloe in the leg, causing her to fall. He grabs her head and slams it multiple times against the ground, causing her forehead to start bleeding. Chloe breaks free and then kicks him hard in the knee, causing him to fall and sprain his ankle. Chloe gets up and goes up to him and grabs his legs and drags him towards the pit as he screams. She gets him in front of the pit as he gets up on his knees. "Chloe, please don't do this. You really think this is what God would want? These people are not doing the work of God. They are doing the work of the devil." Chloe stares at him as everyone in the crowd stares at them and are telling Chloe to finish him. Gregory, with a terrified voice, says, "I'm begging you, I surrender." Chloe stops for a second and says, staring Gregory in the eyes, "Say hello to the devil you know." She then kicks Gregory into the pit of the dead as he screams as the dead begin tearing him apart, as Chloe stares down and lets out a breath. Chloe turns around as Gina approaches her and smiles. "Chloe Cordon, the Lord has chosen you. The Lord has judged you, and now you are free of sin. How do you feel, child?" Chloe looks at her and says, I feel like a new woman." Gina takes her hand and stares at Chloe in the eye. "Do you swear to do the Lord's work and help keep the world safe of sin? Do you promise to be loyal to your new family?" Chloe smiles and says, "I swear." Gina smiles and says, "Well then, welcome to the final congregation, Chloe Cordon. Welcome to your new family." Chloe looks around as the crowd separates and she is brought into a trailer. Present day. Chloe is out in the woods with three members of the congregation. One of the men says, "What time does Gina want us back by?" Chloe responds, "She said tomorrow. We should find a place to stay for the night." One of the guys says, "There is a cabin nearby we could stay at." Chloe agrees as they keep walking. 5 infected come up and Chloe kills them all with a large knife by herself. One of the guys says, "Man, I see now why you're Gina's favorite, Chloe." Chloe smiles as she looks in the distance and sees 2 people. One of the people reaches for a gun, and Chloe quickly raises her gun and fires, hitting the person as the 3 cultists move in on them. Chloe walks up to her people as she gets a look of shock on her face as she sees Alex in front of her and holding the wound of an injured Kelly. Alex stares at her and looks shocked as if he didn't believe what he's seeing. Chloe? What the hell? Chloe smiles and looks happy. Alex, I can't believe you're here. She goes up to him and hugs him. One of the cultists asks what's happening, but Chloe says she's got it. Alex looks at them and begs for their help. Please, Chloe, help her. She's dying. Chloe looks at him and Kelly and says, I'm sorry, Alex. She's a lost cause, and trust me, she won't fit in the paradise. You, however, please come with me. I can save you. We can be a family again. Alex says, what do you mean, paradise? I'm not going anywhere without her. I don't care who shot her. Just save her, please. I'm begging you. Chloe says, it's not your call to make. She nods at one of the cultists as they walk up to Kelly, as another cultist grabs Alex, holding him back as Alex screams. The cultist in front of Kelly pulls out his gun as she holds her wound. Alex begs, please, don't do this. I'll do anything. Chloe says to Alex, don't look, Alex. The cultist looks at Kelly and says, say hello to the devil you know. The cultist aiming the gun at Kelly drops dead as a distant sniper rifle shot is heard. Chloe and the cultists freeze for a second as another is shot. Chloe fires towards the direction of the gunfire and falls back. The cultist holding Alex back throws Alex to the ground and raises his gun, getting ready to shoot him, as Torrin emerges from the woods and shoots him in the head. Alex gets up as Torrin turns to him and Kelly. Torrin picks up Kelly and Torrin asks Alex, what the hell happened? But Alex says, it doesn't matter, we gotta move. Alex and Torrin run as Torrin carries Kelly, keeping pressure on her wound. Torrin says there's someone they might want to see. Alex asks who it is, as a man emerges from a perch in a tree, holding a sniper rifle. The man looks at Alex, and Alex looks at him in shock and says, Jeff? Jeff looks at Alex and says, didn't think the end of the world would bring you here, Alex. It's good to see you, though. Now come on, I got a safe place where I can help your friend. And I will explain everything I know about those psychos you just ran into.
Hear the devil calling. Hear the devil calling. Well, I hear the devil calling. Gotta pay him what he's due. I can't stop the dogs of war. I can't stop the dogs of